Welcome to the channel. Before we begin today's analysis, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video for more in-depth discussions on international relations and national security. The purpose of this video is to analyze the structural mechanisms designed to protect national security frameworks and prevent leadership miscalculations during severe crises. Specifically, we would examine the activation of wartime operational control, OPCON, by the ROK-U.S. Combined Forces Command CFC and the intelligence architecture, mandated by the 2026 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA. We will explore how the elevation of DEFCON and the mechanisms of the ROK-U.S. alliance restructure power dynamics and ensure state security from both military and political science perspectives. The activation of ROK-U.S. CFC OPCON and the NDAA Intelligence Network Mechanisms of Crisis, Management and Institutional Resilience. Welcome, viewers. Today, we engage in an in-depth analysis of extreme national security crises and the structural mechanisms designed to navigate them. Specifically, we will examine the operational viability of the ROK-U.S. combined operational framework and the extensive intelligence apparatus of the United States. In peacetime, the constitutional avenues for independent resistance by professional military officers against civilian leadership are inherently limited. The military is an institution built on strict obedience to the chain of command, with the incumbent head of state serving as the ultimate authority. Consequently, even in the face of controversial or destabilizing directives, institutional insubordination by the armed forces remains highly improbable within a functioning constitutional order. Under normal circumstances, the military must maintain a stance of strict operational neutrality. However, a critical variable alters this paradigm: the ROK-U.S. alliance and the transition of wartime operational control, OPCON. Should signs of external aggression via hybrid warfare trigger a DEFCON elevation by U.S. Forces Korea, USFK, the structural dynamics of power and command undergo a profound, legally mandated transformation. Today, we will analyze this scenario through the lenses of political science, international relations, and military strategy. 1. DEFCON elevation and the legal transition of OPCON. A fundamental aspect of the alliance is that, upon the elevation of the DEFCON level, typically to DEFCON 3 or 2, the operational control of major South Korean combat units, legally and officially, transitions to the commander of the ROK-U.S. Combined Forces Command. This transition is not a discretionary option for political leadership, but a core operational mechanism governed by international treaties, constitutional frameworks, and bilateral security agreements. In a hypothetical scenario where external aggression such as cyber warfare, asymmetric infiltration, or attempts to neutralize military command materializes, the CFC commander assumes operational authority. If civilian leadership were to direct the domestic military to reject these allied operational orders due to ideological alignment or political calculations, a severe constitutional crisis would ensue. In military science, obstructing the established chain of command during a recognized state of emergency constitutes a critical disruption of national defense, rendering those responsible legally culpable under domestic military law and international treaty obligations. 2. Institutional legitimacy and the dynamics of the officer corps. The primary deterrent to military mobilization against political directives during peacetime is the absence of legal justification. However, the activation of wartime OPCON by the CFC commander provides a definitive treaty-based legal framework. When constitutional directives conflict with irregular political orders, the internal dynamics of the armed forces shift significantly. From a military science perspective, the operational execution of physical force mobilizing armor, artillery, and personnel rests not solely with the highest echelon of politically appointed generals, but heavily upon the field-grade officers, majors, lieutenant colonels and colonels, the non-commissioned officer corps, and the enlisted ranks. These professionals operate on strict military doctrine and institutional loyalty rather than political expediency. Under the legal authority of the CFC and emergency protocols, the professional officer corps is structurally inclined to follow the legitimate, combined chain of command. In such an event, commanders attempting to enforce non-statutory orders that contradict the CFC would find themselves isolated, devoid of the actual physical force required to execute their directives. 3. Rapid escalation control and elite realignment. From a political psychology perspective, the resolution of such a command crisis would likely be rapid. The swift presentation of unequivocal intelligence regarding security threats by the CFC, coupled with the mobilization of Allied military assets, leaves minimal time for a compromised leadership to formulate a counter-response. Furthermore, as the balance of power decisively shifts toward the institutional military and the alliance, actors previously aligned with the compromised leadership are likely to act on a rational instinct for self-preservation. Recognizing the legal and operational superiority of the CFC, these actors would likely realign their loyalties to the constitutional order. The convergence of legal justification, Allied intelligence assets, and the physical capability of the professional officer corps ensures the preservation of the security apparatus with an exceptionally high degree of probability. 4. The 2026 NDAA and the scope of U.S. intelligence operations. To understand the broader strategic context, we must examine the capabilities granted by the 2026 U.S. National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA. The NDAA dictates the budget and policies of the U.S. defense establishment, with allocations reaching nearly $1 trillion. A significant portion of this budget is dedicated to global intelligence operations, aimed at countering foreign interference and hybrid threats, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region, under the legal framework of the NDAA and coordinated by the Director of National Intelligence (DNI) agencies, such as the CIA, FBI, and USFK intelligence units, possess robust capabilities to address subversion and intelligence vulnerabilities within allied nations. These capabilities include interception of illicit financial networks. Intelligence agencies can track funds linked to foreign interference or illicit political activities, utilizing mechanisms like the SWIFT network and collaborating with financial oversight bodies. Allied intelligence can rapidly freeze assets associated with actors attempting to subvert national security. Targeted visa restrictions and asset seizures. Individuals identified as actively undermining the alliance or participating in foreign subversion can be subject to severe diplomatic and financial sanctions by the U.S. Department of State and the FBI, neutralizing their ability to operate internationally. Declassification and congressional oversight. Information regarding foreign interference can be presented to the U.S. Congress. If necessary, evidence of subversion or compromised leadership can be declassified and presented in public hearings, diplomatically and politically, delegitimizing compromised actors on the global stage. Independent operation of intelligence assets. In the event of a localized command breakdown, the U.S. maintains the capacity to independently operate reconnaissance, e.g., RC-135, U-2, and satellite assets. This ensures continuous, real-time monitoring of adversarial movements, preventing the distortion of security data and allowing accurate situational awareness to be communicated directly to the professional military network. Ultimately, the structural integrity of the ROK-U.S. alliance and the vast intelligence capabilities mandated by the NDAA serve as an overwhelming deterrent against internal subversion. The assumption that political maneuvering can indefinitely dismantle a modernized military apparatus overlooks the robust legal and operational safety nets embedded in the alliance. The professional military's adherence to constitutional norms, backed by the operational framework of the CFC, ensures that the national defense architecture remains resilient against any attempts at destabilization. Thank you for watching today's lecture. If this analysis helped you better understand the complex mechanisms of international security and the ROK-U.S. alliance, please do not forget to subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications. Your engagement supports further in-depth research.